Hello to all my dear followers, and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. I'm thrilled you're here, because today we're diving into a topic that, trust me, will make you see a beloved couple with fresh eyes. We're taking a look at Miri's incredible method, and under the stirring title, Empty Heart, we're going to unpack a perspective that may surprise you in the gentlest, most revealing way. Have you ever paused to wonder what sits behind a dazzling smile, beneath the effortless charm we see on set, in interviews, and across glowing premieres? Get ready, because we're stepping past the glitter and the flashbulbs to consider the quiet spaces, the challenges, the pauses, and the private strength that keeps the lights on when no one else is watching. And before we get to it, hit subscribe so you never miss a moment here on Secrets Behind the Stars. Your support keeps this space alive and full of love. Now let's begin. Today's journey follows Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel, a Turkish power couple whose presence has traveled far beyond the borders of their home. He brings that grounded intensity that makes every role feel lived in. She radiates warmth with a poise that turns simple looks into layered stories. Together, their screen chemistry is magnetic, the kind you can't fake and can't forget. Project after project, they've proven range, nuance, and a devotion to craft that leaves audiences feeling seen. Yet the more the light shines on them, the more curious we become about the shadows, the places fame doesn't quite reach. What happens after the director calls cut, the lights cool, and the crowd goes home? Our theme, Empty Heart, hints at an inward gaze most of us are reluctant to take. And that's where the surprise lives. This isn't about digging for scandal or playing judge. It's about acknowledging that even those who seem to have it all walk through seasons of doubt, distance, and the hush of an unspoken ache. We project perfection onto public figures and forget that they, too, fall quiet in the car ride home, that they, too, face long nights and heavy thoughts, that having so much sometimes heightens the feeling of missing something essential. So where's the twist that defies expectation? It isn't in a bombshell confession. It's in how Barış and Yağmur move through that emptiness, not as a pit to fear, but as a threshold to cross. We often think of emptiness as an absence that swallows hope, but it can also be a beginning, a clear field after a storm, a blank canvas waiting to be painted with patience and truth. Imagine that canvas. If you splash it with quick distractions, you get noise. But if you sit with it, breathe with it, and bring intention to each stroke, it becomes a work you'll recognize as yours. In their careers and in their relationship, Barış and Yağmur appear to approach that space with care, filling it not with applause or glitter or fleeting thrills, but with purpose forged over time. Let's remember where they started. Nothing was handed to them with a pretty ribbon. There were those unglamorous years. Auditions that felt like whispers in crowded rooms, workshops that left them exhausted but sharpened, early call times, late-night rewrites, and the quiet grind that doesn't fit neatly into a headline. They had to learn to trust the slow burn. Every role taken, every scene crafted, every risk accepted was a step forward, a promise kept to themselves long before the world took notice. That kind of perseverance tells you something. It tells you that at the core of the show and sparkle lives discipline, grit, and a belief that the inner life matters more than the outside noise. Still, emptiness wears many faces. There's the loneliness of always being seen but not always felt, the hush that descends when you step off a stage and the world feels oddly silent. There's the relentless pressure of expectation, deliver more, be better, be perfect. And the tightness in your chest when you don't know what perfect even means anymore. There's also the deeper desire to find meaning beyond achievements, that restlessness at 3 a.m. when you're asking yourself what it's all for. The answer they seem to reach for isn't about grabbing something new to stuff inside that quiet space. It's about becoming the kind of person who creates meaning from within. Consider their work. When an actor steps into a character, they sometimes meet parts of themselves they've never properly greeted. Through story, fear becomes nameable, longing becomes visible, and wounds begin to breathe. Watch the subtleties in Barış's stillness and how Yağmur lets vulnerability flicker, then flame. Those choices do more than entertain, they can heal. Role by role, scene by scene, project by project, you're witnessing two artists mapping their inner landscapes with compassion. And then there's their bond with fans. The soft thank yous, the live chats, the little moments that say, I see you. That steady exchange of warmth and sincerity creates a bridge. Emptiness often grows in the gap between ourselves and our truth, or between ourselves and other people. Connection shrinks that gap. It brings breath back to the room. Their openness online, their love letters to the audience in the form of effort and presence, these are not PR tricks. They're threads that stitch isolation into community. Now think about evolution. We've watched Barış and Yağmur grow in front of our eyes, both on set and off. They've transitioned from rising names to reliable leads, but growth is rickety, not a straight line upward. Some gigs sting. Some scripts don't sing. Some dreams change shape at the last second and leave you blinking at a new horizon. Emptiness can flare when timing fails or the future fogs up. But resilience is the quiet art of getting back up while holding your softness intact. It's the skill of learning loudly from each fall and stepping forward without becoming hard. Their answer to those empty moments isn't to deny them or bury them. It's to let them inform the work, nourish the heart, and sharpen the instinct. Here's the part that may challenge our favorite fantasies. We're trained to hunt for fixes outside us. The perfect role, the big payday, the ideal partner who completes us. But a partner, even a beloved one, can't be a permanent patch for a personal ache. What they can be is a mirror, a witness, and a sanctuary while you do your own inner work. That is what sets Barış and Yağmur apart. They don't lean on each other as a crutch, they lean toward each other as allies. Their relationship doesn't erase their individual journeys, it enriches them. You can see it in the way they celebrate wins without clutching them, and in how they let losses teach without defining them. You can feel it in the choices they make, investing in craft, in health, in boundaries, in quiet time, in the ordinary joys that keep a soul steady when the circus is loud. That's where the true surprise lives, in the routine, in the discipline, in the mundane devotion to self-knowledge and self-love that never trends but always transforms. Maybe you feel a pang of recognition. Maybe you've been chasing a shiny answer, hoping it will hush the echo inside. The way Barış and Yağmur move suggests another path. The empty heart isn't a sentence, it's an invitation. An invitation to sit with your own story without rushing, to learn the texture of your thoughts, to ask what lights you up and what dims you down, to choose connection over performance and meaning over momentum. Imagine how that looks in real life. Instead of drowning discomfort in the scroll or a shopping cart, you step outside, breathe, and ask what your day actually needs. You pay attention to what feels alive, maybe a script that scares you, a class that stretches you, a conversation you've avoided, a boundary you've never drawn. You stop waiting for applause to tell you that you're enough. You start building a life that whispers it to you long before anyone else notices. That's not a cliché, it's a practice. A philosophy lived, not posted. Day by day, it shapes you into someone who can carry both joy and sorrow without breaking faith with yourself. And if that sounds soft, remember that vulnerability is a kind of courage, the kind that doesn't need a spotlight to prove itself. Here's the final turn of the key: the answer to an empty heart isn't a trophy you can hoist or a person you can keep. It's a journey inward, a long and generous conversation with yourself that never really ends. Fulfillment isn't a finish line. It's the way you walk, the way you greet a setback, the way you savor a small win, the way you show up for the people you love and the craft you respect. In their own distinct way, through steady commitment and unfussy warmth, Barış and Yağmur remind us that deep satisfaction is possible even when the path swerves and the weather changes. Their story says that twists don't mean you've failed, they mean you're alive. So let's gather it all up. Under the banner of Empty Heart, we looked at Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel not as headlines, but as humans who work, risk, love, and learn. The surprise wasn't some scandal stolen from a whisper, but the presence of resilience that doesn't shout, the firm gentleness of strength that refuses to posture, and the continuous, humble practice of getting to know oneself. Their response to emptiness is to build from the inside out, to pursue purpose through art and honest effort, and to nurture connection, with themselves, with each other, and with everyone watching. Emptiness, in their orbit, becomes less of a void and more of a doorway, a chance to redraw the map and find a life that fits. I hope this perspective landed for you the way it did for me. Did it surprise you? Do you recognize any of these feelings in your own daily life? Tell me in the comments. Your reflections turn this channel into a living conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it with someone who needs a gentler take on success, and subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars so you don't miss what's next. Each of you is a vital part of this community we're building, one honest story at a time. See you in the next video. Until then, take care of your heart, and remember that the brightest glow comes from within. M.